Welcome everybody to Hand of the Day 29. We have a pretty fun pre-flop spot today, so let's get right to it. So in this hand, we hold pocket jacks, and we're sitting at a table. Obviously I don't have everyone filled in here, just the players who are going to be involved in the hand. We are playing versus Under the Gun, who is a 50 VPIP whale, so they're quite aggressive and quite loose. We also have Cutoff, who is a tight aggressive reg. Then we have ourselves, and we have Small Blind, who's a very crazy reg. Now this hand was played at 25 NL. So here's what happened. Under the Gun, who is the whale, opens to 3 big blinds, and then Cutoff, who's the tight aggressive reg, calls. We decide to 3-bet to 12 big blinds, and then Small Blind actually 4-bets to 28 big blinds, and the whale calls. So Cutoff then folds, and we have the opportunity to either fold our pocket jacks, we can either re-raise, probably just go all in here for 138 big blinds, or of course we can call. So let's see what the viewers decided to do. I posted this hand in my Discord, and most people said that they would raise, and one person said that they would call. So let's see if most people were right. We'll talk about the raise in just a second, but first I want to evaluate the call option. So using GTO Wizard, we can actually approximate if calling is a good option or not. We'll start by making Under the Gun open to 2.5 big blinds. It doesn't really matter that their range isn't like a 50 VPIP whale range, and we'll see why in just a second. We'll then make Cutoff call just to put some money in the pot. We'll make ourselves raise, and then we will make Small Blind. Oops, I actually said it wrong here. We'll make Small Blind raise to 27. Again, just kind of getting close to the hand that it was actually played. And if we just go over here to Buttons range, we can see that our pocket pairs are pretty much 0 EV calls here. And the reason for this is because the pot is so big. There's already 70 big blinds, and we could potentially hit a set and win up to 200 more. We only need to put in about 16 big blinds to get into this pot, so it's probably okay to call, especially because we're closing the action and maybe get to check on the flop as well and see the next street for free. But I still prefer to raise, and the way we solve these spots is we actually have to do some combo math. So pretty much for the first time ever, I'm using a program that is different from GTO Wizard. Here I'm actually in Flopzilla analyzing the combo math. So let's start with the reg's likely range. This is still a cold 4-bet, so the range can't be that wide. At the end of the day, we're playing versus a reg, and we're just trying to approximate the range. We're really not trying to get anything that resembles it, because we want to just get an overall general answer, not something that's specific. So we're going to assume that they have these 48 combos, and they're probably just going to be calling something like this. Let's head over to the whale. So maybe the whale calls that cold 4-bet with something that looks like that, and if we decide to jam, maybe they will call something that looks like this right over here. Maybe just 82 of these combos, so pocket 8, some ace queen, obviously still calling pretty wide. Now if both of these players call, as you can see, we have about 28.5% equity versus both of these ranges. And then to complete the math, all we have to do, and I did this in the background before I started making this video, is just remove one of the player's ranges and see just how much equity our hand has versus each individual opponent. So to calculate everything, I plotted all of these data points out. Versus the fish, we have about 53.3% equity, and they will call us around 53% of the time. Versus the reg, we have about 36.2% equity, and they will call around 70% of the time just because their range is so much more strong coming into it. Versus both players, we have about 28.6% equity. Now the way we sort of approximate how much money we win by raising is by just doing all of the math. We have 4 different scenarios. We have both players folding, we have the fish calling the reg folding, we have the fish folding the reg calling, and then we have both calling. And all we have to do is just calculate the frequency of all of these events happening. So in this case, both players will fold around 14% of the time. And when they fold, we win 69 big blinds. It's supposed to be 72. I messed up a little bit, not important. And then I just did this exact same process for the rest of the scenarios. So for example, if you take a look at this one, when the fish folds and the reg calls, this happens only 33% of the time, but we do lose a little bit of money because our hand is pretty weak. What's important to note, however, is that we actually do win money when just the fish calls, just because their range is so wide, and our hand actually has pretty good equity versus their range. And so lastly, we just have to sum all of this together by multiplying the frequency times the EV. So if we do that, we get a value of 4.74 big blinds. So that's really good. That is significantly more than the 0 EV that we get when we just decide to call. And although this is just meant to be an approximate answer, you can see that this is still fairly big compared to that 0 EV call. And so as a result, very simply, I think raising is the right answer. Now there's one more additional note. If we head into Flopzilla, you can see that our fish opponent actually has these hands like pocket aces, kings, and queens, but in reality, they might not even have these hands because they choose to jam them themselves, in which case, our hand becomes even more profitable as a jam. So congratulations to everyone who got it right. For those of you who are watching this video just through YouTube, please feel free to join the Discord so you can participate. The Discord link is the pinned comment down below. See you guys tomorrow.